The take home here is I want you to get your right hip as far away from the golf ball as you start your downswing. Hey guys, Eric here outside at the Bethlehem Golf Club. In today's video, we're going to talk about the right hip, and specifically right hip depth during the downswing. This is one of the key indicators of a really good golf swing versus those of us who struggle with contact and power. And I just got done giving a lesson. There was 2 awesome drills that you can put into your swing that should really help any of you guys with early extension or just how to get your downswing more athletic and more powerful. Now, before we dive into what those 2 drills are, just quickly want to let you know we are doing some in-person coaching here in Bethlehem, PA at the Bethlehem Golf Club. If you're interested in coming for in-person coaching, we'll put a link down in the description down below. If you can't make it for in-person coaching, would love to see you at cogornogolf.com. That's where we can work together online. You can send me your swing. We'll analyze it for you, write up a 4-week practice plan, really help take your game to the next level. We'll put that in the description as well. So hip depth during the downswing. So I had a guy come in, we were doing a lesson just before this, and he really struggled with the lower body during the downswing. And like a lot of people expressed to me, hey, I really have a hard time getting my lower body active or getting my lower body going. I'm all upper body during the downswing. I'm not able to fix it. I hear that all the time, and I also hear all the time people who know they have early extension, but are not able to fix the early extension. And one of the missing links here is this trail hip depth that I want to go over and show you what we did in our lesson. So let's go over trail hip depth. When I take my setup position, let's just say I have a neutral normal setup, my hip is a certain distance away from the ball, my right hip. Let's call it 3 feet. Not sure if that's right or not, but let's call that 3 feet. During the backswing, I want my trail hip to get farther from the ball. Let's call it 3.5 feet, just making up numbers. Now here's the key move with the hip depth. It's during the downswing. So I've gone to 3.5 feet. Most players start going back to 3 feet and even in closer to 2 feet or 1 foot. Their hips go too far towards the ball. The chest gets too far forward. There's loss of angles, etc. What you see in a good ball striker here is you create depth going back, and then the feeling is as though you create more depth to start down. You see what changed there in my body angles? My hip is 3 feet, 3.5, again, don't hold me to these numbers, 3.5 feet, 4 feet. So my hip got farther back as I start down. So if you're someone who comes through and you have early extension, your hip's 3 feet, 2.5, right? 2, I'm exaggerating, but moving in towards the ball too far. Creating hip depth as you start down, such a key movement for solid contact. So what we talked about is that general concept, right? So this gentleman came in, we were hitting balls, and he was too far forward, hip would move too far forward, head too far forward and up. And I said, hey, when you start down, let's get that right hip creating even more depth. So you feel like you push the right hip back. I'm reflexing here in transition. My rib cage and torso, as I push my hip back, get closer to my lower body. See how bent over I look? That should look a lot more athletic, like I'm ready to create some power and speed. Now, there's a couple feels and drills I want to go over. We're going to put a little, bring a little piece in here to talk about the first drill. Okay, so the first drill we did was put an object here behind the butt line. And you may have seen this before, but here's a little different way to do it that you might not have seen. And this is how you get the hip depth. When you take your setup, put an object behind you. We'll go about a hand here between your right butt cheek. Now, when you go up to the top, your right butt cheek's going to push back a little bit, not get all the way there. But as an exaggeration, what we did is I say, hey, now get your right butt cheek to push back into it. Not your left butt cheek, not both butt cheeks, just the right butt cheek pushes back. Do you see how that gets my upper body back down closer to my lower body? That gets my legs reflexing in transition, and that got him all of the athletic motions that he wanted to get. So that would be part 1 and drill 1 we did. Now what we did was we do 2 rehearsals, 1 hit. So he'd go up, feel the depth, exaggerate the depth. So I have a lot more room when I do that to get my arms and hands back down in front of me. And then we'd hit one. Now I wanted him to hit one very slow in transition. So here, very slow as I begin my transition movement. So I have a 9-iron here that went like 100, 110, and then we recorded it. And I watched from down the line, and what we're looking for and what you're looking for when you do this to eliminate the early extension is draw a line down your right butt cheek, keep your right butt cheek on it on the way back, and then as you feel as though your right butt cheek's going behind the line, all it really needs to do is just stay on the line. And for those of you who have the opposite motion, this should feel really good and athletic. We did 2 rehearsals, up to the top, create some depth. Again, just the right butt cheek here, creating the depth. The right butt cheek and leg are getting farther from the ball here, farther from the ball. And then we do that one with a very slow transition. And I'm just trying to hit a couple shots. That one I hit a little bit heavy, and that's okay in the beginning. I use the video, I go back, I look at it, and that's what we did with him. We did it about 5 or 6 times, and we got the looks we were looking for in transition. All of a sudden, the legs started reflexing naturally. The shaft started to shallow. The chest was more down covering the ball, all because of what the lower body did. And that's the sensation that you have. So hip gets farther from the ball, pushes back into the object, just the right butt cheek, not both of the hips from there. That's the subtle nuance. That's how you can create right hip depth during the downswing, eliminate your early extension, and make your downswing more powerful and athletic. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you liked the video, do us a favor, click that like button down below. Really helps us get our videos out to more people so we can keep making videos for you guys here for free. Click that subscribe button down below if you haven't already. If you do like these YouTube style videos, and this in particular, we're gonna put a recommended video on the screen here for another YouTube style video. If you would like more coaching, we'll put a card on the screen for cogornogolf.com. Would love to see you there.